A mysterious and disturbing case in Brazil involves an unknown and frightening creature known as the ET, extraterrestrial, of Varginha. In 1996 in Varginha, Brazil, there was an extraordinary and unexplained event related to UFO sightings with incredible testimonies. In addition, there is the alleged capture of beings from another world by the Brazilian military. This is an obscure and emblematic ufological case of the 1990s, unprecedented in history. ET of Varginha in Brazil. Dark case.
The two sisters Liliane and Valquíria Silva and a friend of theirs, Kátia de Andrade Xavier, on January 20, 1996, returning home in the afternoon after work were confronted with something unimaginable.
The three women recounted, along with their mother, that they had seen a strange creature crouching and agonizing. The women rushed to the site of the sighting. At the site there was no trace of the strange creature left, only a nauseating smell of ammonia. This testimony was the first in a series of alien creature sightings. The description by the Silva sisters is that of slender, short humanoids with very large heads and red eyes without pupils. The creatures would be similar to the aliens known as greys. Three horn-like protuberances protruded on the bald head. The creature's mouth was a slit and the nose was very small. According to the testimony, the girls only observed the creature for a few minutes. Frightened by the creature's horns, they fled believing they were facing the devil himself. Local Uberjara ufologist Franco Rodriguez became interested in the case by interviewing the Silva sisters. The ufologist obtained an initial description of the creature. The Silva sisters told the ufologist that they later had other contacts with the alien creature. The extraterrestrial people who came to Varginha in 1996, according to the commanders, were the Draconian people. The commanders claimed to have contacts and agreements with the top government leadership in Earth. The Brazilian government gave the population some explanations regarding the events that took place during those days. The helicopters, military in nature, were conducting military exercises on site, according to the government. The closed wing of the hospital was due to the installation of new medical machinery. The ambulance spotted near the site of the sightings was intended to transport Marco Eli Cheriz. The man had died of an infection that occurred after surgery to remove an axillary cyst. The man had not died of an unknown infection of alien origin. The moment the sighting leaks out, other close encounters with other alien creatures are reported. And local agencies such as radio stations and newspapers take an interest in the cases. On the night of January 19th to 20th, at 1 a.m., a cigar-shaped UFO was spotted on a farm. The size of a minibus, it moved slowly at a low altitude. The livestock became noisy and restless, alerting witnesses to this unusual presence. The sighting took place 19 kilometers from Varginha. In the days that followed, it was rumored that the Brazilian military had frequently flown over the area in all-black aeroplanes. Perhaps they were looking for aliens? On January 20th at 10 a.m. some boys pelted a monstrous creature with rocks. The boys reported the strange presence to the fire department, which would intervene and capture it. The two ufologists who were interested in the case were confirmed what had happened. The site of the capture was Tres Caracos, about 10 miles from Varginha. The fire chief found himself forced to alert law enforcement because the creature had not been identified. The military arrived at the scene of the alert, locking the creature still alive in a wooden box and loading it onto a military truck. Sergeant Palhers responded to the call to the fire command. Private Navaldo, Corporal Rubens, and Palliers testified to the events. These men asserted that the creature remained the entire time of capture huddled up, emitting strange bee-like buzzing noises.
Other witnesses claim that on the afternoon of January 20, 1996, the military would locate and capture an injured alien specimen by transporting it to the local hospital.
The incident allegedly occurred after the Silva sisters' morning sighting. That afternoon, a nurse will recount that the entire hospital wing was later closed to the public by the military. The creature, potentially held in Varginha Hospital, was transferred to Humanitas Hospital. This second facility possessed more advanced technology. On January 22, 1996, the creature perished. Through a major anonymous operation, it was transferred to the University of Campinas. 3 military trucks were used to transport the creature's body, stored in a wooden crate. Dr. Fortunato Badan Palliers would perform the creature's autopsy. In theory, the autopsy was conducted in the Department of Forensic Medicine at the University of Campinas. An official military inquiry into the Varginha case went on for 7 months. Colonel Lucio Carlos Pereira claimed that the 3 women, Liliane and Valquíria Silva and Kátia de Andrade Xavier, had encountered a squatting man undernourished and in a state of confusion. Mud covered him because of the rain. The witnesses mistook him for an alien belonging to the gray race. But can we believe such a claim? How could 3 women mistake a malnourished man for an alien? The sisters said that the creature had vein-like spots on its skin and some protuberances on its head. After staring at the creature for a few seconds, the 3 ran away in despair. The girls reportedly returned to the apparition site with their mother about 25 minutes later. They found nothing else, just a mark on the ground, a smell they could not describe, and a dog sniffing around. A bricklayer who worked nearby said that the firemen had already taken away that strange bug. Another version reports that around 8 p.m., 2 soldiers were driving along Rua Benevenuto Bres Vieira, the same street where the girls would have seen the ET, when the driver abruptly braked the car because something passed in front of the vehicle. One of the soldiers got out and captured the creature without wearing gloves or any kind of safety equipment. Military police officer Marco Eli Cheriz, who would have participated in the capture of one of the creatures, died days later of a generalized infection. There are reports that he was just over 20 years old and a healthy young man. At the city zoo, some animals died and the necropsy indicated an unidentified caustic toxic substance. Also, in the examination of the dead animals, a blackening of the mucous membrane of the stomach and intestines of the animals had been detected. Reports of flying saucers have also been recorded in the city. One couple reported seeing an unidentified flying object on a farm 2 kilometers from where the creature would have appeared. Currently, the girls who claim to have seen the ET no longer speak about the case, just as some ufologists and researchers who participated in the investigations at the time have left the case for unknown reasons. The research conducted by the ufologists indicates that the Varginha case was not only about the capture and sighting of the creatures, and a subsequent death of a military policeman from strange causes.
Days before January 20, 1996, evidence points to what would have been a UFO, unidentified flying object, crash in the region.
According to ufologists, all the testimonies collected in these 26 years converge to the conclusion that something out of the ordinary happened in 1996. All the reports converge to the same type of animal. It could be an aberration, a genetic experiment, an animal with deformity. We cannot rule out this possibility. But I personally, particularly, for having investigated this case for years and years, non-stop, as there is a sighting of spaceships in the region, with landing and everything else, with falling objects and other animals that have been seen in the region. It was not just one creature. This makes me believe that these beings were crew members of these UFOs, these unidentified flying objects. One of the theories defended by the researcher is the North American involvement in the Varginha case. According to him, the Brazilian army and the North Americans already knew what was happening days before the capture. One of the testimonies points to the entrance of an American military airplane in Brazilian airspace on that January 20th.
Now, recently, we had a statement from Marcos Fears, a retired flight controller, and he said that on January 20th, 1996, a U.S. Air Force aircraft entered Brazilian airspace, a large C-17, which can hold up to 77 tons, which could easily accommodate the spaceship that crashed in Varginha and 2 or 3 other bodies.
This aircraft went to Campinas, SP, where we know that at least 2 or 3 creatures were taken, some alive and another dead, he said. What do you think about this case? Who do you believe? The witnesses or the Brazilian government? Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one and turn on notifications.